Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here with Vorosh, and we are continuing the quarterfinal coverage. We're going on to the next series. We've gone from a ZVZ with Calm and Zero, and just in case, I was about to tell you one, just in case you're watching them out of order, and you wanted to watch this first, I'm not going to tell you one. This is going to be the TVT series between Leta and Flash. Leta from CJ Entis. No longer Height Entis. Height no longer being involved with the pro scene at all. It is now CJ Entis. We have reverted, and we've got Leta. He's an orange, and probably we're going to have a look change because it's orange and red right now, and... nope, we're keeping it. Leta in orange in the top left, Flash in red in the bottom right. So Flash, the Dominator, the Robo-Terran, the Terminator, whatever you want to call him, the freaking imbalanced Terran that he is just so good, doesn't lose very often, except in the last MSL he lost in TVT to Sasak and Classic of all players. So could that possibly have gone from a complete dominance that he used to have to maybe a little bit of a weakness? We will have to see if Leta can maybe exploit it in this series.
Yeah, Flash has had a history of losing to random players in Terran versus Terran in Star Leagues. I remember, I thought it was the last MSL that he lost to Reality in a Terran versus Terran, and that was like Reality's 4th pro game he ever played. So Flash has had a little bit of a history of like losing games versus Terran that no one thinks he should have lost, but at the same time, Leta has a history of losing games in Star Leagues. If you just go back and look at his Star League history, it's dreadful. It makes you sad, really. So the last MSL, the PD Pop MSL, oh, we're seeing a proxy racks in the middle for Flash. I should say something about that. So we'll go back to what I was saying in a moment. Don't worry, I won't forget. So it looks like it's just going to be a 1 racks, and this isn't a cheese or anything. I think he's just gonna lift it and float it off. So he's gonna like send the SCV in one direction and float it in the other to get some additional scouting. So that's actually not that important, although it looks like it's probably going to be a 1 factory opening for Flash because he's already got the early gas going up, where it's going to be a 14cc from Leta. So Flash does have a pretty nice opportunity to actually deal some damage with this divergence, because he's definitely going to get a factory out, so he's going to get some vultures, and there's going to be like nothing to defend against it. There's probably going to be a bunker in time, but he might just be able to walk right by into the main and do some damage. And we are at a cross map position, so Leta's probably going to be fine. But an interesting divergence, Flash going for the more old school style of Terran versus Terran, whereas Leta going for hyper economic play.
Yeah, that is the style, the hyper-economic play that we've seen, and usually that's the other way around. Flash is usually the one going 14cc, losing a game, then going 14cc again, maybe winning, then going 14cc. Like, Flash always 14cc's or 1-rack cc's. It is not very common for him to do this factory build anymore, but he's going to go and wander into Leta's base, see what's going on, see the cc already down and the barracks not completed, knows it's 14cc, probably will divert those 2 Marines. Yes, they are going to come and try and put some pressure on and see how much damage they can do. There will probably be 1 Marine out or about out as those Marines for Flash come into play, and we'll see how well Leta can defend. He is working on getting a bunker up. Actually, no, that is Flash's bunker actually going up right now, and he is going to try and shut down this natural expansion from Leta as well as he can. Some SCVs coming off the line for Leta, trying to stop this bunker from going up. Is Flash going to get to complete it? He is going to get to complete it, and Leta actually is going to back off his command center, so that forward racks for Flash really paying off big time. If that Rax was in his main, we could have really seen Leta pull this off and get his natural expansion up, but not here. And now we have a fight on a ramp where Leta's trying to use that cliff the mischance to his advantage as well as he can. Can't really see how many Marines are left underneath the command center, but it looks like 2 are remaining for Flash, wandering into the main right now, and Leta with only SCVs to defend, but he does get a decent little box in there on the Marines, doing some damage, and I think Flash is continuously sending Marines in here, and still that natural expansion not coming up, so this entire ploy for Leta not helping at all, and now a Vulture coming into play as well for Flash, and nothing in that bunker, so things are just going terrible right now for Leta. How will he defend against this? this. Things are going awful now. Vulture pecking at his unit. He's kind of getting in his own Vulture to counter, but Marines in his base as well. So much going wrong here for Flash, or for Leta, I'm sorry, and Flash is taking his natural expansion right now as well. So good harassment there by Flash, but it looks like he hasn't picked off that many SCVs. I can't really tell who's ahead. What do you think right now, Vorosh? This looks very, very close, but Flash really with the, I think, the mental edge for sure in this match right now.
Yeah, I don't quite think it's as close as you do, because the command center was up a lot earlier for Leta, but it wasn't landed at any time. It wasn't producing SCVs, so just getting a command center up early doesn't help you. And Leta lost quite a handful of SCVs. I think when all was said and done, he probably lost around 5, maybe more in that engagement. So Flash is going to be at just a ridiculously big advantage in this game. And if there's one person in the entire world who you don't want to be at an economic disadvantage to in a mirror matchup, it's got to be Flash, the freaking perfect Terran.
No,
like,
he is not the perfect Terran.
He's not the perfect Terran. But he's really freaking good. He's got, just a modest 70% win rate in every matchup. And what is this? Do you see that random flying unit coming across the map from Leta? What is Leta doing? Building a Wraith. This is so uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah, Leta and his Wraiths? Who's ever heard Leta going Wraiths? He usually doesn't do hold position above Marines, though. I don't think that's what it says. By the way, what I'm referring to is that the perfect Terran's name is Zelos. Yeah, we already have a perfect Terran. He is in existence. That's what I was really referring to there. But that Wraith's not able to do too much. The Marines getting a lot of damage in there. But mines are going to stop these this command center from going up once again. So Flash just pairing into his advantage as much as he possibly can and doing a fantastic job right now of just delaying this expansion as much as he can, and Leta's finally able to get his natural down, so he is going to get mining done here. He's going to start this going. He does have that Wraith out in the starport, so maybe he can start pushing that, maybe try and do some damage with that, but it looks like Flash with that armory and that academy up is well prepared for this, so everything looking really good for Flash right now, and I just kind of fear for Leta. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where Flash gets the lead, just looks downhill at Leta, and just steamrolls, and it's just going to be really hard for Leta to stop.
Yeah, this is just like so bad for Leta. Like Flash has exactly everything that you would want to have in this position. He's actually saving his barracks even. He brought an SCV out just to repair that. So that's not going to hamper him from making more factories. But he's got everything. He's starting to build Goliath to deal with the Wraiths, and he's got an armory. He's got several factories, building more, getting machine shops, getting all of his upgrades. He's got the academy, getting the comsat stations. He's got everything you could possibly need, like everything you want your base to look like in a Terran versus Terran, and he's just at the same time so far ahead of Leta. And for a 14cc, Leta getting his expansion up at about 6 minutes, that's about as late as we see in a 14cc. So Flash not just completely negated the advantage that early command center would have given Leta, but like went so far past that mark of negating it. He like took such a huge advantage for himself, and we are going to start to have siege lines in the middle of the map. And is Flash actually going to lose a tank? Yes. And he's got to be careful about that Wraith too, because that Wraith will eventually pick away at the barracks, and he needs to be active with his Goliath actually protecting his tanks from the Wraith as well. He's probably going to get Charon booster, so his Goliaths are just all the more effective. Actually, no, that's kind of stupid.
Regardless. Anyways, I just wanted to talk about this map a little bit. I was just thinking about the fact the other TVTs on this map that I've seen, and probably the best TVT I've seen on this map came in the round of 16 in this MSL with Flash versus Really. And if you didn't watch that, it's on my account. If you didn't watch that, I really, really recommend that you go watch that. It was absolutely incredible, and I think there's a lot of things that either or both players in this game could take from that, and that is a lot of the strategy that Really was using, getting on those those bridges properly, timing his attacks on each of the 4 hills that you see, like kind of above the mineral onlys, basically where Leta is guarding with his tanks right now. That hill is so important to controlling every corner, and really was focusing on those corners so heavily, and it ended up helping him big time. That was the one map where he actually beat Flash on, and that was really a focus of his, and it really worked out very well for him. So I'm looking at Leta to maybe try and copy that and see. I'm interested in as to how Flash responds to that. If Leta tries to do the same thing, will Flash be able to respond, or will he even try and do that back, take that lesson that really taught him and try and put that on Leta? I think it would be very, very interesting to see how well these two players focus on those hills, because I've seen that was some pretty incredible play from Relay. I just wanted to mention that because I could really see this game turning on that if either player is able to turn that into an advantage.
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to point out is that actually Leta has gone for 6 factories. Yeah, that is a pretty, like, that's I don't want to say all-in-ish, but he's definitely committing to do a very powerful attack, and I think actually having Flash produce a couple of Goliaths helps him, but he was just off. He just got such a bad start in this game that I don't really think he's going to do much damage with the 6 factory, and Flash is already getting a command center at the 3 o'clock, so it looks like he might just gobble up the whole map, but Vulture's actually getting in. Are any of those mines going to go off? No! Not a single mine does any damage to the tank, so that was just a complete waste of Vultures and a complete failure. So just everything's going wrong for Leta in this game, and I really can't imagine the 6 factory doing any damage. I think that 3 o'clock for Flash is going to go up completely without a hitch, and that Flash is just going to continue to turn his already large lead into a more permanent and even larger lead in this game.
Yeah, Leta just seems to be throwing units away. I think some of those tanks maybe weren't... No, they must have been in range because they died, but somehow he just was not dealing enough damage with his tanks. Flash, with what appeared to be a fewer number of units, did a whole lot more damage. So, yeah, things just looking really grim here for Leta. He has a long road ahead of him. He's going to try and get this game. And Flash just everything looking his way. And here we go, Flash bringing in more units to bear, expanding really his contain right now with his tanks. And I know Leta's on 6 factories, but I really think Flash might be on 5 or 6 at this point as well, working off a 3 base side, because it doesn't look like he's taking a 4th. And finally, some of these tanks finally going down. It took forever. Finally, they're starting to go down. Still no mines going off. Flash has done this over and over again. Very rarely does he lose some mines in TVT. He's so good at picking them off and properly using his tanks and his Goliaths, picking off every single tank. I don't know how he does it. It's really impressive, actually, the fact that he's able to pick off every single one, and his understanding of how the computer's AI is going to target and selecting the right units to target other ones. It's really impressive. But yeah. We do have the armory. I believe was it spinning? I think it was spinning, so I think that should be another weapons upgrade for Flash coming up, which is going to be really important. And finally, Leta getting his 3rd base, but it is a mineral only. Leta coming in here with Vultures to the 3 o'clock. This is going to help him. Going to take down some SCVs. The more he can get, the better. Of course, looks like he's going to get about half a dozen or so. So that is definitely going to be good work for 3 Vultures. So some quality harassment there from Leta. If he can keep that up, that is definitely going to be small victories for him that will help him even up the eco disadvantage that he ate at the beginning of this game.
Yeah, +1 just completing for Flash. I didn't see the armory spinning, but I did see that he already had a science facility almost completed, and probably not actually for vessels, probably to get those upgrades. So Flash planning ahead probably is already upgrading +2 attack right now, going immediately for fast upgrades. Although Leta himself, he's also building a science facility, so he's probably got +1 about to kick in as well. Yeah, just kicking in right now, which is only like, oh no, that was Flash's tank. Leta's still at 0-0, so this is just terrible that he's engaging right here. Although, like, he can't really fall back because he would lose so much in the retreat too. Leta's, and oh, beautiful by Flash, having a Goliath just with its girth taking up that entire ramp to his 3 o'clock and protecting all of those SCVs just by being kind of fat. Beautiful by Flash, and there's just, everything's going right for Flash in this game. I can't reiterate that enough. And I thought Leta had finally broken his apparent curse, and whoa, a second starport. That's definitely worth noting because we could see Flash going for a lot of wraiths. He's already produced one, but oh my God, a trillion vultures getting in. Oh no, sorry, half of those are flashes to defend, so only a couple of SCVs going down. I thought all 10 of those vultures were Leta's. Imagine that world. That's just insane. So it looks like Flash playing a little bit Leta-esque. I actually just double checked to make sure we had the players right, going for a ton of wraiths, going 2-port, well, kind of late 2-port on 3 base wraiths, and I think he might get Cloak, and he'll transition into just a ton of dropships from there. So that's definitely good. And Leta, the first time he did vulture harassment, it worked out really well, but the ensuing times is just not working out at all. He needs to come up with something else to do. And what that is it looks like he's throwing up his third base of his own, or a fourth base. He's taken his third base at the top left inner bit expansion, and he's taking a fourth base at the 9 o'clock. So it looks like double expanding to try to make up this economic disadvantage.
Yeah, and he's going to need to make that up as well as he can. Some vultures from Flash coming in here towards that mineral, only going to start picking off some vultures. Some vultures for Leta coming in defense as well. Flash does look like he's going to do some damage, and Leta trying to do the same thing to Flash, but Flash is having none of it, completely shutting that down. So nice defense there by Flash, catching on to Leta's game. And I just want to mention with all the rates, this is actually a relatively new development. I want to say over the last couple months, even. It's not an old trend at all, where basically you don't see dropships in TVT anymore. I am shocked to see it. I think I actually remember like the game where it started, which was when Flash decided not to go battle. I can't even remember his opponent. I feel bad, I can't remember that game, who he was playing against, but it was Flash, where he skipped dropships completely and went straight to battle cruisers and just completely destroyed his opponent. I believe it was on Benzene, actually. And you can see him doing that, and now you've kind of just seen that trend where over and over again everyone's just ditching dropships. No one's going dropships anymore. Everyone's going mass raids and Valkyries, sometimes going BCs later on, or even trying to mix them in over and over again. It's been that trend over the last few months, and I think we can blame Flash for it, because I really think that he's the one that started that trend in that one game. And so now we don't see dropship play, but we do see a whole lot of aerial play, and it actually is pretty fun to watching the Valkyrie and Wraith fights go down. We do have more vultures for Flash coming in here, shutting down that entire mining base. Leta actually retreating all of his SCVs, trying to keep them alive as long as he can, and as he builds up his Wraith force. And I think both players have to know that their opponent is going Wraiths. At some point, we're going to see one of them start to build some Valkyries as well to try and deal with it. Flash expanding to the top right and the bottom, so he's taking a double expo to counter. And I'm getting the hiccups, so go Vorosh, because my hiccups are starting to go, and that's not good.
Alright, so I'm sorry about your hiccups. I hope you feel better. What I was expecting to happen was that Flash going for 2-port wraiths, that he would be able to get kind of an air dominance, and then once he had that air dominance, actually be able to go for that. But it looks like Leta has upgraded Cloak and has 2 of his own, and finally picking off that one Goliath, and now I expect Goliaths to be on their way. No, the Wraiths are on their way, and that scan's going to go off and deal a lot of damage. Actually smart by Leta. Leta's got very nice Wraith micro, actually splitting his Wraiths. He sent 3 in 3 different directions so as not to lose them all, and Flash has also produced a Valkyrie, so he's sitting there with some cloaked Wraiths, which he should decloak to conserve energy, and also a Valkyrie, so he's going to have very nice control of the air, at least for now. And the thing is, it's, what is it, 6 bases for Flash right now, versus 4 for Leta. And we did see that Leta had constructed what I believe is his 5th command center, and he's waiting to take the 12 o'clock, but that is contested at this point. And here comes a pretty big engagement across the middle of the map. Flash has got a very nice siege tank line set up, and it looks like he's taking a little bit of a better engagement at this point, and it's also very, very important to note the positioning of the 2 tank lines at this point. Flash has almost contained Leta to the top left quadrant of the map. Leta really only has control of the top left, and Flash's siege tank line is past the middle, so he's actually, and the no man's land is into the top left, so this is a really good positioning for Flash, that he's just controlling more of the map, which gives him a bunch more expansions that he's able to take. Like, he was able to take the top right, and Leta doesn't really have any prospects outside of the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and that, or the 9 o'clock, and the 9 o'clock is getting sieged right now, plus 2 weapons completed, and GG from Leta as Flash controlled 3/4 of the map. A very solid, straightforward victory there for Flash. Nothing really all that unusual. His forward racks coming out to help him out, and then from there it was all downhill for Leta. Nothing he could do with that 14cc, doing absolutely no economic advantage for him. So Flash getting a pretty workmanlike win here in the first set, going up 1-0.
Yeah, Leta's face said it all. After he lost that game, it's just like, I'm so sad right now.